Let me make sure, let me open up my chat. Let me see who is here so far. I am muted, it looks like. No, I should be good. So let's go into the chat. Welcome, everyone. Let me see, it's showing that I'm muted. Let me see. Just doing a quick, I want to make sure you all can see me and make sure you can hear me. Awesome. Thank you. The chat was a little bit slow. I'm like, I can't see anybody and I don't know if you can hear me. So I am glad that you can. Awesome. Thank you so much. I will go ahead. I'm going to apologize now. I have like a weird thing going on head and chest, and so I'm a little raspy, but we are going to rock today. We've got a lot to cover, and I'm just super, super, super excited to have you here. I know there's a few more people who are coming on tonight, but we're going to go ahead and get started. I would love to have you just let me know who's here and where you are from. I know some of you are returning, but some of you are so new. So I'd love for you all to get a chance to see each other's names and hear each other. So let us know in the chat your name and where you're from. Just let me know you are here. Awesome. We are covering more of the U.S. We've got Kamini in Michigan, Michelle in Portland, I think awesome, Shay in North Carolina. I'm super excited to get started for this year and see what we are going to be working on and how we're going to support each other. I know there's someone else who is also on, who is on by phone and not able to participate in the chat, but we see you, and we'll have a chance to also interact with you as well. So welcome to 2018. Welcome to Be Bold Mastermind. I just want to set sort of an intention for us this evening. We are, Bernadette. Hey, Bernadette, how are you in New Brunswick? We are here because we are ready to really do some amazing things in our businesses. Let me just make sure the line is muted. Thank you. We're ready to do some awesome things in our businesses. We're ready to take these projects to a new level. Some of you are making some shifts from the previous year, really focusing, and others of you have had some really great momentum at the end of the year and are really whooshing into the beginning of this year with a lot of force and a lot of momentum. And so the thing that unites us is being here because there's something that's in your heart, that's in your hands, that's creative, that you want to bring to life. And that could be whether you're already in business and you're already growth stage and wanting to do more because you see more opportunity and more potential in your ability to serve others, or you could be more at the beginning of your process where you're figuring it out, you're meeting your clients, you're starting to do speaking and engaging with them, and you're looking to take it to the next level as well. And so I'm excited to be able to walk with you in this process, to hold space for you and to hold space for all of us together. I'm really excited for what we have for this evening. It's going to build on some things that some of you have seen already, but you'll see kind of how it all comes together. I also want to say I'm super excited that we have Lene on tonight. She usually joins us from Amsterdam, where she lives, and actually she doesn't get to join us. She joins us in the Facebook group, but she never gets to be a part of the actual webinar live while we're going, and she happens to be in the Caribbean right now, so she can actually be in this time zone or close to and participate with us. So we just want to welcome everyone who's here and from all over, really all over the globe. So with that said, I'm going to jump in. Tonight is our goal setting and celebration, which is usually what happens at the beginning of the month, in that first session of the month. We celebrate things that we've achieved, from the previous month, from goals that we've set. And then we also get a bit of teaching around some things that we can do to refine in our businesses. And then we move on to setting goals for the current 30-day cycle that we're in. So those are things that we usually do in this session, and we will do those. I am just going to try to be as succinct as possible, but I will let you know right now, the teaching is one that I really want to dig into it, because I truly believe January is important. We're already 9 days into the month, and my goal is to have you moving with such intensity, the intensity that you want, but certainly intensity that will have you accomplishing the goals that you set out to accomplish and seeing the results that you want. So that we're going to do this evening. We are going to celebrate goals. So I would love to hear in the chat, for everyone who was here, just share with us in the chat one thing. It doesn't have to be just from last month, but one thing, if you reflect on last year, one thing that you are just super excited that you were able to achieve in last year, as it relates to your business, as it relates to you getting going. Too often, we get so focused on our goals and where we're not that we forget the progress that we've made along the way. And so I would love to start this celebration off, just like we would any, and ask you to type into the chat one thing you're super proud of that we can celebrate you for on this evening. And you guys know that for those of you who are returning to Be Bold Mastermind, you know that usually we post these in the Facebook group, and then I go through and we kind of go through and show everyone what you've accomplished. But for the purposes of today, since we're starting a new cycle, let us know in the chat how we can celebrate you. One thing that you've accomplished, and you all have many. I mean, new members and others. I know some of the stuff you've been working on. So this is not the time to be shy. This is time for your community to really embrace you and to celebrate you for the things that you have accomplished. So I am looking to see what you have in the chat. Awesome. Bernadette says she's proud of her first organizational client who she's continuing to work with this year. That's amazing. I'm going to have to also have us practice name dropping and dollar amount dropping, because I happen to know that some of you all are really rocking in terms of your revenue. And as business owners, I want us to get really comfortable talking about that revenue because we want to celebrate it and we want more of it. That's how we're able to make more impact, and that's how we're able to do more of the work that we love. So Katie says she has transitioned from doing virtual assisting work into her new personal business model. And let me tell you, I saw all the work she was doing over the break. It was amazing. The new branding she was doing, new clients taking on. It's been like a whirlwind over there with her. Kamini learning a lot, and did her first webinar for the first time and earned first revenue from her support group called the Slowing Down Circle. Awesome. And new member, Michelle Boyd, we congratulate you. Thank you for joining us. We can't wait to support you and get to learn more about your business. Last year, she changed the format of her retreats so that she could serve more people at once and hit 80% of her registration goal. I love it. Yes, I love it. That's awesome. One of my big pieces from last year was, well, a couple of them, but one in particular, being invited to speak at the American Association of Universities. Katie, I'm hearing a little bit of feedback if we can check on that. Okay, thank you. So American Association of Universities, I was invited to present at a closed meeting of deans, and that allowed me to kind of grow the business and grow some awareness. And we got about 4 clients out of that meeting that actually we're going to be going to this spring. And Shay said she's proud of the 6 projects she was able to complete and put into an expanding portfolio. You all know that this is really big because Shay's 6 projects were all done. These consulting projects were all done while holding down a full-time tenure track position. So talk about really making it work and really making it work for you. So I am excited. I'm over here clapping. You know, I'm like, I love to see the progress that you all make, and I love to see the way you support each other in the Facebook group, and also connecting with each other. And so having celebrated, I know Lene just jumped on, you can also put your one thing that you're proud of that you accomplished this past year, so we can celebrate you as well. I've seen some amazing things happening with you from all the way from Europe. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen so we can jump right into this evening's teaching. And feel free, Lene, to pop into the chat and add your item. I'll read it off when you get it in there. Let me share my screen and get going. All right, so what we have here, we are Be Bold Mastermind. And today what I'm gonna talk about is a 90-day sprint to increase profits and productivity. 90-day sprint to increase profits and productivity. First off, you guys know that we usually have a 30-day goal setting cycle, and we're still gonna do that. But there's some things that I notice about how we're setting our goals that make it where we kind of have some goals that are so large, they're bleeding over the 30 days, which is just fine. And I think that means that these are larger projects and they're not just smaller goals. These are larger projects. And so I want to give us another way to think about projects that are going to take more than the 30 days, but can still be chunked down into 30-day portions so that you know you're making progress toward these larger goals. So to get us started, what is a mastermind? A mastermind is the coordination of knowledge and effort of 2 or more people who work together toward a definite purpose in the spirit of harmony. And so that's what we're looking at together, is creating a space, a safe space where we can work together toward this purpose of growing our businesses. And truly we grow ourselves and our own resilience as we're growing our businesses. And we're also serving. So we're working toward this purpose of being able to serve through our gifts, being able to also earn revenue and earn a living through being able to serve others and help others. And we do so creating a safe space for each other, and also by holding each other accountable and supporting each other. And so particularly for this mastermind, we are a goal setting and accountability mastermind for new and growth stage entrepreneurs. So that means as you're getting going, I like to think of this group as kind of the 0 to 100K and kind of moving up beyond that 100K. How do we start to get more clients in? How do we start to systematize the things that you're working on so you can also be systematizing your revenue? All right. So that's what a mastermind is, and particularly us as Be Bold, we're focused on business and business owners. And so why do we gather? 4 points. And you'll see if you've been around for a little while, we've kind of refined this a little bit. First, we're creating a signal that I have frozen up. So let me do something to make sure that we're not freezing. I don't want that to be a distraction. I don't want that to be a distraction for us through this evening. All right. Let me check in the chat just to make sure. Okay. And you're saying that you can see me. My apologies. If I need to do something different, I will. I'm not sure why I'm having some challenges right now. But Katie, you can just let me know if it happens again. We'll shift to, I can do one more thing that may help this. So creating a safe space for us to get clear on and pursue what we desire in our businesses and lives. We've all been in a space where focus is important, and this is what we help each other to do. Also, we hold each other accountable to accomplishing the things that we say we want for ourselves and for our businesses. The third, we provide resources and information to support each other in accomplishing our goals. And you know, this one is a big one for me. We celebrate one another's progress toward our goals. And so I want to take a moment and say, who are we? So you get to know who's in the room. And we'll also do this later in the Facebook group. But I want to make sure we get a chance to see who's in the room and what businesses are in the room. So we are represented in the following states and country. The Netherlands, Florida, Indiana, Kentucky, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, and Oregon. And the industries and areas that your businesses are in the other column. Everything from social impact app developer to leadership development consultant, writing coach and retreat leader, women's empowerment author and speaker. Let me know if you see yourself in here. Productivity blogger and trainer, singer and social advocate, and global relocation coach. All right. So these are the different businesses that are represented in the group. So why do we have, yes, I see you, Jamaica. You're like, yay, that's me. Why do we have a group? Why do we need a group? Listen, if you recognize this image that's here, we are living in times where we truly are doing so much on our own, almost to the point of isolation. Does anybody recognize what this is an image of? Like what kind of gathering this is in this slide right here? And if you've ever been to one, I would love to hear your thoughts about that. But does anyone recognize what kind of event this is that we're looking at in this slide? And I'm looking at the chat to see if anyone has either been to this or you recognize what this is. So you know that, yes, I love that you called it an individual music concert. Yes, an individual music concert. Anyone else seen this concept? So I ran into this concept maybe 2 years ago when I was at Lincoln Center in New York. And it's this huge craze called quiet clubbing. So if you notice in the picture, everyone's wearing headphones, and there can actually be at any party, any given party, multiple DJs with spinning different kinds of music, but you're all at the same party. So how I kind of walked into this was kind of crazy. It was an outdoor party right outside of Lincoln Center, and I see all these people like dancing and moving around, and there's lights, and it just looks really like, you know, almost like a rave kind of scene, but it's completely completely quiet. And so this is called quiet clubbing. It's a quiet clubbing movement. So you can imagine we've gotten to the point where even our social friends, you know, we usually would pick up the phone and say, hey, let's go out to dinner. Let's go out to lunch. Maybe let's go get drinks. Let's go dancing. We've gotten so individualized and so isolated that even our partying is done individually. That you and your 3 best friends can go to a party, but be listening to 3 different DJs on your headphones. And so when we think about the concept of having social friends, we want to talk a little bit about what it really means to have support around the ideas that we have, and to really abandon this like going it alone mentality. And that's why the mastermind exists, because we don't want to be the one partying at the club by ourselves, essentially. We want to be growing our businesses in a nurturing environment, growing our businesses in an environment where you can ask questions and get feedback from others. So we move from the concept of social friends to successful friends, the people that we learn from, the people that we share information with. And some of you will recognize this as one of the group meetings that we had in person last year in June. You really want to be cultivating both your social friends and your successful friends. And it's not to say that those who are social aren't successful. It's just to say that sometimes we have different friend categories and different friend groups that we lean on for different things. And so this is your group to really be able to dig in and support each other, as well as provide resources and information from each other. And where appropriate, even to collaborate with each other or purchase each other's services if it's appropriate. One of our biggest values here is reciprocity. And by reciprocity, I add one extra step. We know that reciprocity is usually defined as giving and taking, right? So receiving as well as giving. But I also add in here celebrating. We can feel isolated sometimes as business owners, especially when you're trying new things, trying out new systems. And the purpose of the group is to really create a reciprocal relationship where we're able to celebrate each other and support each other. And so one of the ways that we do this is in the Facebook group. And I just took two clips. One of these you may recognize. The one on the left is from a couple months ago when Bernadette shared with us her offer letter for a new position. Super, super excited for her. She had been working on how to transition out of the academy, and not entirely out of the academy, but into a different position and seat in the academy, from her tenure track position over to an administrative position, all while also growing her consulting business. So last year for her was really hectic, and we walked that path with her. We watched her go through that. We watched the questions. We heard through the sessions, the things that she was confronting, the questions, the doubts, and also everything, right? And so imagine the feeling that, I don't know about you, but it's not even me, but that I got when I saw that the position that she'd broken through and gotten the position that she wanted, and that she shared that with us. It gave us an opportunity to walk the process with her, and also to celebrate her along the way for taking steps, and then to celebrate that large milestone in the end. On the right, we have Lene. Lene, I don't know if she put in already, let me see, her one of her biggest accomplishments of 2017, but you all know that Lene is in Amsterdam, and she just this year, and actually not, I won't even say this year, in the past, like, correct me if I'm wrong, like month and a half, like around November, December, you launched your new website, your ebook, and also her Facebook page. Check this out. So she posts in her Facebook page, not even using paid ads, right? And look at the number of views. Look at the number of views that she got on her video. And this was her doing a Facebook Live for her new community, 771 views. And so we celebrated her, because it says that it gives us an indication that the idea that she had at the beginning of the year, she's tapping into it, committed to it, working on it, and getting results from it. People are responding. This doesn't happen to everybody, especially not organically, not with the way Facebook works with ads. So reciprocity, I can't drive that home enough. It's giving, taking, and then also celebrating. Okay. And an example of the taking is sometimes you all will put questions in the group, or put a poll in the group and ask us to, give you feedback on a title, or, I think Jamaica, you were working on your book last year, and you asked us for feedback on certain aspects of the book and on your programming. That's what we mean by giving as well as taking. So by way of orientation, then, I want to make sure that you understand our 30-day success cycle. We do goal setting in 30-day increments. And so the first Tuesday of the month, which this normally would have been the first Tuesday of the month, but because it was just after the first, we pushed it back a little bit. But just know that moving forward, unless there is a major holiday, we meet on the first Tuesday of the month and the third Tuesday of the month. Okay, so the first Tuesdays of the month is us having this celebration and a brief teaching, as well as going into the Masterminds app and setting our goal. And this all happens just like we have here this evening via Zoom webinar. Then the third Tuesday of the month, we have what we call our Struggle to Strategy session. The Struggle to Strategy session is purely coaching. That is where you get to say, hey, I am on the third week of this month, and this is where I'm having challenges, or where I'm having questions, or where I'm having doubts about what I'm working on. One thing that we tried that we're bringing over into this year is that for the middle of the month, we're going to have our cameras on. And why are we going to do that? Because we want to see each other. We want to create community with each other. And we want to be able to, as I say, virtually high five each other. Okay. Because sometimes it can get a little lonely knowing that you're working on things for the first time and you're breaking new ground. And we just want to be able to foster as much community and support around you as possible. And so then we have each Wednesday, I go into our online platform, and that is where I coach you. So once you've set your goals, I'm going on Tuesday, in the latest by that Wednesday morning, I go in Wednesday afternoon, and then I coach you. And that's a one-on-one text-based coaching. So this is what it looks like for those of you who, just to familiarize you with the platform and your goal setting. Each month, of course, starts new, and there's been some new features added that you'll be able to see once we log in to set goals this time. So I want to be sure that everyone is clear that this is our cycle of what we do every 30 days in setting our goals, okay? And remember, we are setting goals that are manageable, that are bite-sized. This is not the time to try to do 3 things in a month. If you can focus on one activity, one core activity in a month, it gives you that laser focus to be able to layer into your activities. So if you know you're starting a new project and it's going to require you to build a website and do some social media and do some new social media things, a new email sequence, focus on what is the one thing I will accomplish. What is the one thing I will accomplish in this month? And we know that our goals feed back also into how we want to experience this. What is the experience that we want to have as we're accomplishing these goals? And so this is the platform that we go in, and this is a visual, a sample calendar so that you can see the 30-day success cycle. It has our first and third Tuesdays. And really that call should really be a webinar, another computer, because again, we're meeting face to face, and that happens on on your computers. And then online coaching on Wednesdays. And you are checking off your to-do list all throughout. I just put a few check marks here just to show that this is when you'll be working on your activities. So that is our 30-day cycle. If you miss a meeting, you know that it's always recorded. Both sessions are recorded, and so they'll be made available to you and emailed to you. Also, for those of you who have not done this yet, make sure that you go to the link, and Katie, you can put the link up in chat. If you have not accessed my calendar yet to sign up for your visioning call, go ahead and do that. I know there's still some slots for this month. That would be the Masterminds app that you just posted. I'm asking about the time trade for people to be able to sign up for their calls if they have not signed up for a visioning call. So Katie will post that for you all. If you have not signed up for your visioning call, you get one visioning call that's included with your membership. And I like to do that in the very beginning so I can make sure we talk through some things and that we're focused on your goals. All right. So now we'll move into the teaching portion. And I know I'm moving a little bit quickly this evening, but I want to make sure that we get through the teaching portion. So that, no worries, Katie, thank you. I know there's a bunch of things that I'm asking you to kind of post up for everybody. So just hang tight, everyone. She'll have that link to my calendar. And it's also in your email. So you have it in both places. So as I talked about earlier, we do have a 30-day goal setting practice. That's what we do. It allows us to chunk things down into bite-sized portions. But how many of you, let me know if you've ever started a project like that feels a little bit bigger and longer than something that you can accomplish in 30 days. Give me an example of something that even from this past year that you started and you said, you know what, I'm setting my goal for the 30 days, but even at the outset of it, I feel like I'm not quite, like this is just too large. Let me know about a project that you've had like that this past year or even past few months, or something that you're looking forward to for this year that you're thinking, I'm not sure that this is 30-day. It may be a little bit bigger than that. Oh, honey, if I wish, I mean, I truly wish. Maybe if it were like strictly a product that you'd imported from somewhere and it was on an e-commerce platform, and all you had to do was buy like Instagram ads and Facebook ads, and it was purely transactional and no information. When you're dealing with informational products and services, it will take something to do it, but you're going to get to where you'll have a 30-day cycle that will be profitable. I'm not worried about that. You just had to do some of the beginning. You had to do some of that beginning work to get started and define a product, and really define your brand, right? Because we don't just buy from people, without relationship, especially not in the online world. Jamaica said 30 days profit, sign me up. I know, girl, I hear you. I'm like, listen, that's why we try to, when we find something that works, we want to replicate and fine tune and replicate and fine tune. We don't want to recreate the wheel if we don't have to. We want to replicate, fine tune, and then maybe add something on, right? So we start with our iPhone, iPhone 2, iPhone 3, iPhone 4, small tweaks along the way, but we keep selling that same iPhone, right? And then years later, we launch Apple Watch, right? Not everything gets launched at once because we want to make sure it's good, it's profitable, and it works and it serves. Okay. So think about a bite-sized something. So here, let me offer up an example. Last year, I'll even give an example of something that I'm working on right now. There is a process that I want to test out using an evergreen webinar in order to promote the mastermind. And the evergreen webinar has a series of landing pages that go to it, and know that landing pages means somebody's got to write copy, right? Write copy, design the offer, have really great photos to go with it, create video to go with it. It is a webinar, so it also has video to it. There's a series of things that have to happen to make that that sort of promotional kind of work. And I thought I could do it in 30 days. And maybe if that was like the main project and I had nothing else primarily in the business going on, I could do that. But I know that it may take me a little bit longer. And so that one feels like a little bit of a larger project. I've got to break down the copywriting, the email sequencing, the calendaring, and also creating videos. It may be a place to challenge myself for 30 days, but we want to have a good balance between challenging and understanding when it's a larger project, right? A larger project. And so that's what we're going to talk about right now. So this will look familiar to you. We've gone over the profit pathway. And so profit pathway is really the process that you envision your client going through, or your prospect, I'll say, because they're not really a client when they enter. The process that you envision your prospect going through so that they can become a client and that they can stick with you over time. And I know, because I've talked to some of you, you're at different points in your business where you've got some of these offers really rocking already, and you've got a bit of momentum going with them. And maybe now it's time to add something new to your sequence of offers, right? So if you know that you have a $5,000 offer and a $500 offer, it might be time to catch those people in the middle with a $1,000 offer, Okay. If you have an introductory offer and that's been working really well, something that maybe for your industry, it is a webinar that's $100 and you've been working that pretty well, it's going pretty well, and you've got the systems really working for yourself, then it is time to look at, well, what else can I add? Right. And so here we define it as the free offer. That's the first thing that people touch when they become aware of you. And then the low priced offer, something that's easy for people to jump into. It doesn't take as much for you to sell it. It doesn't take as much convincing for them to buy it. The middle says, you know what, I really liked what we did in the beginning. And I really I still have some needs that I think you can help me with. And I want to level up with you. And then that high offer does the exact same. So again, this is a bit of a recap with an example so that we can get to what that 90-day and 30-day looks like. So keep walking with me in this. So to be able to make our sort of overall annual projections, we really want to start to break down the free, the low, the middle offer, and the high offer, right? We want to break down what those are. And sometimes it takes a little bit of brainstorming to just brain dump about everything that you see that could be possible. I know Michelle and I in her visioning call, we had an opportunity to really dig in and understand a little bit better what some options are. Her retreats have been doing really well. They've been selling. She has a calendar for the year around the retreats that she's offering, but we know that people want more. They want more after. And then some people who can't get to the retreat, that cycle, want something that they can do at home on their own. So it's prime opportunity to start filling in so that we can fill in our annual projections for ourselves, but also to serve more holistically. Okay, so this here was just an example that I took from one side of the business that we have beyond the tenure track with our university clients, and it shows you the spread of how we earn. Right. So, and this is not our exact model. This is just an example. These are things that we used to do, and I just kind of plugged in price points here. So cost per unit, right? Your free offer obviously is $0, but you're getting qualified leads. And then the low offer, the middle offer, the high offer, and you can play around with your own numbers. You can really play around with your own numbers. I just wanted to get close to like 100,000 just to show what it might take to build a 100K business. But you may not be, that may not be your starting point right now, or that may not be the vision for you for this year. You may be looking more in side hustle terms and side hustle kind of revenue. So this is just a model, but it's meant for you to play around with, to think about what could go in these different categories, and you'll have multiple ones, but the idea is that you start with one. All right, that you start with one for each of these categories, and you don't have to work on them all at once. Okay. So this is an example of, and we have a spreadsheet for you that will be delivered to you. I want to make sure, let's see. We have it's a spreadsheet, but it's also a fuller booklet that has this, and we've added some additional sheets in it. We'll email it to you tomorrow, but if you wanted to take a look at it right now while you're on the call, Katie will put a link to that sheet. And actually, let me show it to you just so you get a sense of where we're going with this. Right, so this is your opportunity to start making your own projections. Let me go to, sorry, I want to be able to show you what's coming so you can see what we prepared for you. Let me share again and share. I'll share my full desktop. Okay. Let me know if you can see the spreadsheet that I have up here. You can probably see my whole desktop too. I'll just take a moment to look in the chat if you can see the spreadsheet. Awesome. And there's nothing obstructing your view of this because I've got a few things open. Just want to make sure you can see it well. Okay. It's clear. All right, awesome. So this is what's coming your way to help you work through what we're working on now. And you notice we've kind of been doing some branding as well, trying to make things look a little more consistent. But this is your funnel with examples of free, low, middle, and high offers. And this is where you'll be able to jot down more about your projections. And this is a fillable PDF. So if you don't want to print it and you want to work straight on your computer, you can do that. And this is where we're going to go into next, is to looking at your quarter. Okay. So I wanted to have you preview this so you know what is coming and what you can be working on. But just for right now, take a moment for yourself and jot down for yourself, what are some things that you know you're going to be offering this year? You don't have to worry about categorizing them just yet, but some things that you know you want to offer this year, and put them in the chat so we can see what you're working on. Some things that you know you want to offer this year. And this could be existing things that you know you've already done and you're going to repeat them. It could also be new launches that you know you want to test out. So I am looking in the chat. I know all of us have internet connections that are a little bit slow. Okay, Michelle is leading 2 in-person retreats that are paid and 3 free online retreats. Awesome. Michelle, for you, is this the same number you have offered in the past on your in-person and in the online, or is there something changing here? More online retreats. Okay. And online retreats for you are really great lead generation for the paid retreats. But also, I think they're going to be lead generation for a smaller item or some other kind of item that people can purchase in, because people are going to be ready to keep moving forward with you. So that's one less in person. Okay. I'd be interested to hear how you're planning to make up the revenue for that. And we can talk about that in the chat. I want to make sure that as you're growing, you're keeping your revenue at least stable and increasing over time. Jamaica's going to offer 1 masterclass retreat. Let us know who that masterclass retreat is for, Jamaica. I'd love to hear about that. And also for others to get to know more about it. Lene, downloadable content. Lene, is that paid content or free content? Paid content, of course, yes. Okay. Downloadable content and an online workshop on how to get a job abroad, a coaching package, and maybe a course on moving to Amsterdam. You know what? Amsterdam is such a place that so many people from around the world move into. I am so sure that, your course would stand out, especially there's a lot of people of color from around the world who move to Amsterdam. I see. It feels like a really diverse landing place. And not that you need to obviously just pinpoint people of color, but I think it's a unique factor in the market to have you offering the content as well. It just adds something fresh to the market. Kamini is doing a webinar series. I'm excited about that. I think it'll be a way to have smaller ways for your audience to commit to you. The Slowing Down Circle is a multi-week kind of engagement that's at a higher price point, but a webinar here and there or a series may actually kind of break through some more revenue goals. And then speaking opportunities, all paid, I think. Absolutely. We're going to claim that right now, all paid. You can do one of them or something of them for free as lead generation. But yes, paid. Bernadette wants to offer paid online courses for students and parents. On career and college prep through online course sites like Udemy. I just spoke with an instructional designer earlier today. He was a wealth of information. Oh my gosh. He's done some really great pieces on Udemy, and they've been selling really well. So I look forward to being able to connect you with maybe him or even another friend of mine who does this really well. I would wonder though, if parents are on Udemy. Are parents on Udemy? So we want to get some background information on Udemy's users, the demographic of the users, to know if that's a good space to launch it in. There may be some other kind of more niche space. I'm not sure, but that's just the first thing that comes to mind for me is, are students on there? Are parents on there? Are students of the age group that you're thinking about? And where are they? If they're not there, where else are they? Okay. And maybe they will be there, but yeah, a lot of questions about that, right? How to target students online. That's awesome. I think we're in the right vein of thinking. So Jamaica's work is for women who seek inner and spiritual healing and awareness. And Katie is going to be launching a 4-month Momstermind group for those launching home-based businesses. I love it. I love it. And I love that you're chunking it down into a smaller, time frame. Shay, I'm not sure how my plans fit into this framework. I'm still considering moving forward with my app for Syrian refugee services in Lebanon, but it might require further research this summer before I can move forward. Another idea I'm thinking about is starting to speak on design anthropology. I've been asked to give a few lectures recently and wonder if there's a market there. Anytime somebody's asking you to speak, there is a market there. I think it's going to be interesting to see who those invitations are from. Academics tend to think about trading information, not buying information. So we want to keep that in mind. That's a positioning question, especially because you're still in your faculty position while you are building your consulting work. And it may take some research for you to get the app for the Syrian refugees, but I think moving forward in keeping consistent, don't get stuck at the research. You don't have to wait until the summer to do research. Get your students to help you with it for your course this semester. Figure it out, because momentum is what's going to be on your side. Momentum is going to be what's on your side. This matters right now. And one of the things that's important in business is striking while the iron is hot. Okay, so let's think about that. So for everyone, thank you so much for sharing. And you know that our mid-month sessions are you all speaking for yourself. I just do this here because I want to move through the content. But you all get to jump on the line and, have your own voices heard and talk to each other and everything. Just so you know that for those who are new. So I invite you you've got some ideas as you take away this sheet, start to work on where you're going to plug these in and how much. And so the next piece that I want you to think about is, which one of these offers, existing or new, will you launch in the next 90 days? Right? Which one of these are you going to launch in the next 90 days? And so, for example, Shay wouldn't be able to say, I'm going to launch my app in 90 days. It may not be there yet, but it could be that what's happening in the next 90 days is completing research, making contacts with her existing networks in the social impact entrepreneurship space, making contacts with developers, making contacts with investors. Especially because she's got a strong network already from her previous career in this space. This is the time to cultivate them before you need them. So that's an example of kind of what will you work on? Is it maybe you'll have the plan written up, like the business plan written up in the next 90 days for the app. And then it allows you to chunk it down into smaller pieces over the next 30 days, right? January, February, March. Okay. So think about what of your existing or new offers you will be launching in the next 90 days. Now, I want to make a distinction. Hi, Monique. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Awesome. Monique is based in New York, and actually, I forgot to put New York on our list of where people are from. And she does event planning in the fundraising space, primarily working with nonprofits. And Monique is going to be a little bit in and out for us because she has a big event coming up in February. I've been seeing the ticket sales out there. I think some of the seats are like, or tables are $2,500 and up. So it's a really fancy, big New York event. So we're excited to even be able to have Monique here because she's been coordinating so much over just the past few months, and especially now as it gets to be crunch time for her. So she's going to launch her new masterclass in the next 90 days. I'm excited about that because I've watched Monique grow her business and test out new things in her business. And one of the biggest things that she's found is that, yes, she can be hired to plan your event. She can even be hired she and her team can help you to plan and execute your event. But you know what? Not everyone can afford that highly customized, high-touch service, especially for a high-level New York event planner such as she is. And so how do we serve that market? We create an offer that's a lower stage offer that allows people to still be served. And that offer can look anything like a masterclass where I'm going to show you the core things that I do when I do this so you can do it for yourself. So you and your team can do it for yourselves. Okay. So I'm super excited to watch her do that and really get that out there through her network. I think they're ready for it. And of course, it's going to be a great way to get revenue. So Lene, online content and a job workshop over the next 90 days in the form of a job workshop. So we want to know that whatever you're going to launch in the next 90 days is something that works with the calendar of your client and the need of your client or your prospect. What do they need right now? What is their biggest need? You want to match that up with what you're going to offer. Okay, so the new existing offer that you'll launch in the next 90 days. Now, I want to talk about something that's a little bit we tend not to think about so much, right? We think growing our businesses and we think the front of the house. What am I going to offer? What am I going to serve? What kind of new product, or how am I going to improve on an existing product? But one of the things that we forget and that creeps up on us is the systems, the back office systems that allow us to deliver what we do and deliver it with ease. Okay. And with a good experience for your clients. So for example, it took us learning some things, about doing online courses to be able to see really how to create, a good experience from everything from when people click to pay on that landing page, the automated messages that they receive with a welcome, to the links that they're being sent to download information and materials, how to make that seamless for them. That's just for an example with our online courses. But similar to you, if you're a coach and you are doing coaching work, you want to make sure that you have a calendar that people can easily sign up to schedule a session with you. The worst time suck when I first started coaching years ago was back and forth with people. Oh my God, I spent so much time doing that. And it was a waste. And I want you to think about this too for anything that you're scheduling. If you're scheduling free consults with people, if you're scheduling sessions, even with prospects, if you're doing workshops, have a calendar where there's blocked off times that they can access you, and that you already know these are the things that I am making myself available for at these specific times. And if anyone is ready and willing to work with me or want to hear more, they can have access to my calendar. Now, one thing I would suggest in that scenario, and just particularly with calendaring, I would not put your calendar on your website. You want to qualify your leads first, right? Because anybody and everybody will ask for a meeting. Qualify your leads first. Maybe they first have to opt in to get your ebook, and maybe they have to do a quick survey or a questionnaire before they can get on your calendar. I suggest the latter. That way you get information about them as well so that you can serve them better. But here, I want you to think about the back office. Over the past 6 to 12 months, where have you felt pain points in being able to deliver your services or your product well? I will raise my hand now and say one of the ones that we have just not done a great job with is our CRM. And I don't mean the CRM like, MailChimp or Active Campaign or these things, but I mean the integration of that with a more robust CRM that I can use to take notes when I have client meetings or when I meet with prospects on the university side who want to hire me. If I showed you my system, of note taking, you all will be so ashamed of me. This is not one, but I'm going to show you an example if you can see. I write everything down. And so I have a folder with files that are me and my scribblings of notes. That is not acceptable in a scaling business. It is not acceptable. And so Katie and I have tested out, we've researched and we've tested out a couple, and we're still working it out. And I think this is going to take us either going out to outsource and have someone do it for us, just so that we can offload that and have someone who's an expert in it, figure out why we haven't been able to find a system that works well for us. But the point of this is, if you are going to improve the systems in your business, actually, let me back up. If you are going to grow your business, if you are going to grow your revenue, if you are going to do those things, you will have to create a really great environment for people that you're interacting with, and also for yourself and your team if you have a team. So we don't need to, do all of it at once. But as you look at the things that you want to do over the next quarter, the next 3 months, the next 90 days, sounds really real when we talk about it in days, right? What's one thing that can be cleaned up to make that work well or work better? It may be somewhere you want to streamline or automate. Maybe you need to do a little bit something different with your social media to make sure that you're not spending a ton of time with your social media, but that gets automated. What problems are you encountering in your workflow? How can you solve that? There's one example I will also give that this woman, I mean, she does like multi-6-figure business. She and I are in a group together, and it's the end of the year. She's in the marketing and ad agency world. End of the year, she just onboarded some new clients, Fortune 500 companies, and she was having a really hard time getting contracts back on time. And we're thinking, well, maybe it's because they need time to review the contracts. Maybe it's, the holiday season, people are working a little bit slower. Do you know what we ended up pinpointing as the problem? She was still using paper. She was sending people basically a PDF that they would have to print and then scan and send back to her. One simple solution. What's one simple solution to help her client be able to return that contract quicker? One simple solution. Anyone have any ideas about one simple solution that she could offer, that she could implement that would have her? Absolutely. DocuSign, G-Forms, HelloSign, yes. And I'm like, this woman is doing multi-6 figures and she hadn't quite figured that out. It just goes to show, yes, Adobe also. And I need to implement this. I just don't have enough volume on that side. But yes, Lord is right. She's doing multi-6 figures, but she just hadn't incorporated that in yet. So it can be anything. Things as small as that can help you with your revenue and revenue generation. Exactly. So that's my question to you, is to reflect on and jot down now maybe you don't have the one yet. Maybe you don't have the single back office issue, but what first comes to mind for you when you think about something you want to improve in your systems? I already raised my hand and said CRM is one. It won't happen this 90 days, unfortunately, Katie, I'm sorry, but it's going to happen soon. We're going to do something else this 90 days. This is going to be our evergreen webinar. Yes. Bookkeeping. What about the bookkeeping, Bernadette? What is it? Scheduling time for it? Is it a system for it? What's the challenge, Michelle and Bernadette, with the bookkeeping? Oh, yes. You're switching from Wave to QuickBooks. Welcome, welcome. Yes. 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 You know what? I outsourced it. I just wasn't going to do it. I outsourced it to an accounting, a bookkeeping service. It's not my accountant, but they charge me $150 a month to do all that stuff for me. They set it up and they maintain it. I don't have them go into my accounts. I could give them access to my accounts, but every month I'm sending them, because we do online business, so I'm sending them PayPal statements, my business credit card statements, my uh, bank account system. It's like, you may just pay for the setup and then just do it yourself. But they didn't charge me. I mean, the charge for setup, they didn't charge me. Okay. Yeah. Katie says she outsourced as well. They didn't charge me any extra, like, larger fee for setup. Except for getting into QuickBooks. So you all know I am really about outsourcing where possible. So thank you, Katie, for saying you have a resource to share. I can add a couple in there as well. So a system for tracking little things like travel and mileage receipts. When I worked at UPenn, we used a system called Concur, CONCUR. I wonder if there is a similar system for, you know what, actually, hold on. So it depends on how you want to do this. If it's receipts, I don't know that QuickBooks does this because I upload now in a different way. But when I was using Wave apps, their app on my phone allowed me to take pictures of the receipts and they'd be uploaded that way. Now, that doesn't track with mileage. You may have to have a different app. I use Mile IQ for mileage tracking, but I have to tell you, one of the biggest things, yeah, you have a ragtag system. I hear you, hon. That's how I feel too. One of the biggest things I found with Mile IQ is that I actually have to record like categorize each of my rides. So if it's a personal ride, I need to categorize it as personal. If it's business, I need to categorize it as business. And honestly, because my phone is not on my lap while I'm driving, I forget. So my system would have to be, okay, I have the app, now I've got to use it, right? I swear, I think I'm going to go back to the paper log, because what are we talking about here, though? That sometimes you just got to find your way. Find it and then stick to it for a little while. Test it out. Get help with it. If it doesn't work after 30 days, discard it and move to something else, or see if you can get some help with it and move to something else. But yeah, Hurdler, I could see it. I'm like, it's a great idea. They're tracking my miles, but I am now at the end of 2017 having to send that stuff to my accountant. And I'm like, crap. I didn't do so well with this every time I got out of the car. So we use our tools, we try, and I would encourage anyone, share. If you have tools or resources that would help, yes, please do. Monique says she needs a real assistant just to feel supported and organized. I know it definitely helped me. Katie is no longer doing virtual assisting for others. I feel so special. And I'm also like, don't leave me. But I felt like as a solopreneur, like I got to be heard and I got to vet ideas and get feedback. And so for me, she's been more than an assistant that does work with scheduling and, creating spreadsheets and doing things, but also helping me with thought partnering has been very tremendously helpful. So yeah, if we can offer maybe I'll do a training on that too. And I know some of you have experience with it already, but a training on how to find and vet quality people, especially in the virtual assisting world. Maybe you don't want a virtual assistant. Maybe you prefer someone in person, and probably would help you for events. But if you think that would be something that you'd like to see, how to select and vet an assistant, we'd be happy to do a training on that. Just let me know. And we can also get some collective wisdom going, because I know that others also have assistants, like Michelle. I know she's working with someone as well. So let me know if you'd like to see that, and we'll roll that in for this year pretty early on so that we can get that going. Awesome. I know we usually are just an hour, but I ask for a little bit of grace for just to be able to finish this, because I want to make sure that we are all moving toward really where we want to go. Shay, I want to hear from you. I know that we're talking here like front of the office, back of the office, but as you think about building up for your app, it's not launched yet, but as you think about building up for your app and kind of creating the support that you need and the team that you need around it, be thinking about what kind of internal system you would need to keep this going. And for you, it even may be something that's just as simple as like how you're going to calendar and organize your own week to be able to work on this while you're also doing your other projects. Right? So I want to support you in being able to think about how we add this and we layer this in to what you're doing. Okay. And we can talk about that. So when you set your goal, we can work through that. Because I think there's some things we just need to like break out what all you want to do over the next 90 days. I mean, that's practically the semester. What you want to accomplish overall. And then we can start to together, we can chunk it down and say, what can we get the most bang for your buck for in the beginning, especially while the semester is going and you have help either from students or from other people on campus in the design school that you're with or the business school that you're with. So let's think about that. Let's think through that in terms of your goal setting. Okay. So your one back office issue, and this keeps doing this. I'm sorry, you guys. Sorry about that. So, that's why it clicked out, because that actually is the last piece for us in terms of getting us focused on how to look at this quarter, right? So we've kind of done something a little bit different here. We're looking at the quarter so that we can chunk things down into our 30-day system, right? Into our 30-day goal system. So I'm going to use one of you as an example. Monique is going to have her masterclass that she wants to launch in the next 90 days. I encourage you to set a date for it. You can do that now. You can actually look at your calendar tonight and say, I know that I want this class. It's going to be a 1-session, 4-hour workshop with lunch, and I want it to be held on this Saturday or this Friday afternoon. And just pick it now, put it on the calendar. It makes it real. It makes it real, and it gives you something to work backward toward. And even, I will tell you this, even as that's awesome. You have the date to be live in April 2018. That is great, because while you're working on this particular project, the one that you have right now, this client that you have right now for February, you can start talking about it now. You're going to be meeting other people at the event who are going to say, wow, who did this for this organization? You want to start saying, and even having materials to hand out. Here's a flyer. Here's a handbill. April on this date, you can join us, right? But it's when we start to make these things real and put them into time and set them into time and date that we can actually act as if and start working toward as if, okay? And that's my encouragement to you, so that then we kind of back into it and say, all right, if the goal is the masterclass, what's the first thing I need to do for the first 30 days? Do I need to just start with the concept and start with all the advertising on it, right? You know my philosophy. I'm a sell it before you build it, girl. I'm like, sell it before you build it. Get butts in the seat, get people who are committed so that you're not building in a vacuum, right? That's just something that I say. So I'm putting that out there for anyone, not just Monique, but if you're really planning on launching a product or a service, do what you can. That can be a pre-sale. It can be, It can be a number of things that you do to get butts in the seat, get paid customers before you start working on a lot of content and venue and all this stuff, spending money and time and energy. Make sure that what you have is what people want. And the biggest way to do that, people will say yes when they pay. That's their way of saying yes. Okay. So for all of us, we're chunking down this 90-day project into 30 days. And so I would like for all of us, our drill, and I am going to actually unhide this slide for those who have not seen it. What we do at the end of every goal setting webinar, so at the end of every first of the month webinar, we go into the app.masterminds.org platform and we set our goal. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? The idea, though, is to get as close as you can to what is the one thing that you will work on this month that you want to accomplish. So, for example, and I'll work through this here on this slide because I want to make sure we remember how we're setting these goals in a way that's effective and that's focused. Of course, I know you're working on other things, right? Like, we're not naive. There's a lot of things going on, but I want to see what has your main focus, okay? So when you plug into and you get into the app.masterminds.org, and Katie will put that link up, you're going to see this. This is a slight snapshot of one of the things you'll see. It's going to ask you about your experience. What is it that you ultimately want to experience? Perhaps for you, I want to experience what it's like to have sold out retreats 4 times a year, right? I want to run a profitable, a profitable online business that allows me to work from anywhere, and still make money. Right? I would even get more specific. I want to run an online business that allows me to work and live anywhere in the globe and earn, a 5-figure monthly revenue. Right? Let's get into it. What is it that you ultimately want to experience? This is not the goal per se, but this is what will make me feel like I am thriving in a good space. And then we take that and we say, all right, what's the goal though that you're going to work on this 30 days that feeds into that bigger goal? So for me, if my idea is that I want to be, and my experience is an entrepreneur who has an online business that allows me to work from anywhere and earn a 5-figure monthly revenue, then the one thing that I know I need to do is promote one of my products or services that really allows us to grow. And you all know that the mastermind is one of those, right? And so I would say for me, I have a specific goal around the mastermind. And that for me is going to be to create the evergreen webinar and experiment with paid Facebook ads. So that's my goal. That is an example of a goal. It's specific. It is not all over, and it is tied back into the experience that I ultimately want to have. And then we always look for measurement. What is going to be my evidence of success? How will I measure this and know that I'm showing my work? And this, I always encourage you, as you're working on things, post it in the Facebook group for us to see it. Seeing it helps us celebrate you even more. That's how we had Lene's video in the group. That's how we had Bernadette's offer letter in the group. That's also how we had, many things you'll see if you just keep scrolling through of things that people have posted, right? Jamaica's book, The Slowing Down Circle with Kamini. So evidence of success, how will I measure my success and how will I show it? So think about that. And then finally, the first domino. The first domino is really this. What is the simplest action that I can do in faith right now that will start to set my goal in motion? So this is not, I'm going to research how many apps there are out there to help me track my mileage. No. This is not, I'm going to set up a system to do blah, blah, blah. No. A first domino, for example, using the goal that I gave as an example would be I know that I have to have a URL for the webinar. It would be within the next 24 hours, purchase the URL for that evergreen webinar. Right? And that's kind of catalytic. The idea is to have something a little catalytic, right? That gets you moving. Now, a lot of us purchase domain names and they just sit there, right? But that would be a catalyst. Or I could say the first domino would be, I'm going to put it on my calendar and also reach out to an accountability partner that they will be able to view a draft of my webinar in 7 days. Right? Something like that. Something that the reaching out is the first domino, because it can be done literally. I could text somebody tonight or tomorrow morning. Right? So the idea is something that can be done in 24 hours that catalyzes you to move forward quickly. Right? It gets it in motion. It holds you accountable, not just to saying it, but to doing it. All right. So you guys know the drill. App.masterminds.org. For your sign in, I want to leave just a couple more minutes. So give me a sense of if you have questions about the goal that you're going to set for this 30 days. Okay, I'm just making sure I don't have any messages from Katie about being frozen again. And I'm going to come back on. Okay. And you know that I will go in on Wednesday and late in the afternoon, early evening, so that I can coach you and go through whatever it is that you're setting as your 30-day goal. I'll help you fine tune it. You can also ask questions in the chat function. But the idea is that if you can, and I encourage you to do so, set it tonight. Right? Set that 30-day goal while we're on this call right now. What is that 30-day goal going to be? Okay, setting it actually in the app. One of the challenges is when we wait too long and we study long, study wrong. That's one of some of the biggest pieces of advice I've gotten in business. Study long, study wrong. Meaning you take too long and you overanalyze, we don't get in motion. Okay. So Jamika, you said that you launch your first online course tomorrow. Help me understand that. What does that mean? Is that a first domino or is that a goal? And do you have content already? We haven't been in the chat together, so I haven't seen what you're working on. It's your goal. Okay. So the tomorrow part wouldn't be the goal necessarily. I think the whole goal would be launch the online course. No worries. Launch the online course, and we can talk in the chat about how. What's your sequence for doing that? What's your way of marketing that? And when is the course, so that we make sure you're backtracking and have some metrics in place. Okay. Awesome. So I know we've gone over this evening. Again, usually we're here for an hour, but I wanted to make sure we did onboarding since it's January, and also that we did goal setting specifically for 90 days, thinking a bit bigger about what you need so we can chunk it down into 30-day segments. Okay. What you're going to receive tomorrow, you will receive the worksheet that I showed you to help you work through some of this, as well as, of course, as always, you get the email of this session. And that ends our time for this evening. The last housekeeping note, though, is two things. Make sure you set your goal by the morning tomorrow. So if you feel like right now you're a little bit pressed, think about it. Give yourself just a few minutes. We work so much in our businesses that we don't work on them. Let's take some time to think about what it is that we want to be doing moving forward, because we're already at the 9th. Okay. So set your goal. If you can do it tonight, I would love that. If, by the early morning, first thing in the morning would be great. And then when I go in, I can help and coach you if you need some support. The final thing is it said, where do we find the login info for the goal setting app? That would be a question for Katie, because I think she sent it over, but she will get that to you. so that you can, yeah, no worries. We'll also resend. So Katie, just make a note to resend that to her, to Michelle, so that she can have that. Okay. All right. She says she's sending it right now, so you have it. And of course, Michelle, too, if you have any questions as you go through it, you'll have this recording, but feel free to reach out and email if you're feeling like you're not super certain like what to do once you get in there. Either Katie or I can jump on with you and walk you through the system. Okay. You want to make sure you're getting started off strong. So I appreciate you all this evening. Again, I'm super excited to see some faces we haven't seen in a while. And also the faces that we don't usually get to see, and new faces. I look forward to supporting you all this year and to creating and helping to hold space where you can truly accomplish the things that you want and the things that you desire. We believe that that is possible, particularly with goal setting, that we do 30 days at a time and with accountability. So with that said, everyone, pop over into the Facebook group and let us know one of your takeaways from this evening or action steps that you will take as a result of what you heard. Thank you so much. And I will see you all in the Facebook group and also in the online chat and coaching tomorrow. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye-bye.